Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Leiluy nishmas imi marasi rusmas Mordechai. Your side is coming up this Sunday. Amen. Hayoim shiva also yoim sheim shnei shavuos ushleisha yamim ba'omer or la'omer. Sponsored Leiluy nishmas Sarah, a 10-year-old girl, shalom. Bas David. Daniel Gray, hi Belly. Been a while since our basketball games in the Institute for Blind, 7 a.m. Fridays. When I lived in Eretz Yisrael for 3 years, every Friday, 7 a.m. Vasikin, 7 a.m. Hope this image brings a smile to your day. The thought of basketball, 7 in the morning. Geschmack. Anyways, what sugi is the daf up to? Ribbis, Givaldi. Hi, Rebbe. I believe Shad and why people believe Ezu Neshech is so hard is because in yeshiva when we were younger, it's portrayed as one of the hardest sugis. Now it's not just one short or another, but real life business scenarios, example of interest. So we remember it as hard, being hard back then. Now, they've Baruch Hashem grown up. I personally find these sugis fascinating, LOL. Thanks again for being incredible. Yossi Azulai. Dear Reb Stefansky, I was truly delighted to see a picture of my good friend Willie with his new baby daughter while watching today's daf. I know Willie for 25 years. I'm proud I was once his counselor at summer camp. In March of 2022, saw a post from Willie mentioning a Daf Yomi share and encouraging people to sign up and to learn and receive a free Gemara. I decided a free Gemara and added learning couldn't hurt. I didn't know how long I would be able to stick with it, but it was worth a try. I began Yavamis on March 9th, 2022, and have been with the share since. See one status from Willie, brought in Ephraim Reese. I brought others in as well, so Willie has Einaklach already, believe it or not. I also continue to be amazed by Willie's commitment to turning Klal Yisrael. We find him around town learning and doing Maisim Tovim. After October 7th, he constantly was schlepping goods to the airport to send to Israel, like our good friend Mati, who's busy sending all day. Doesn't have enough time for Torah. He's probably an American now. I just wanted to reiterate what you said about the good he does. I think about how fortunate his new baby is to have Willie as an Esti as parents. There's no doubt she's bound to build a bais, never be Yisrael. Thank you for sharing his Simcha, a student of yours, because of Willie's commitment. Ephraim Reese. I think Mark took you seriously about going on vacation now that you're back in Eretz Yisrael. I spotted Mark chilling outside Wesley Kosher today. He looks very relaxed. Keep on daffing. Yitzi, Pariser, Pomona, New York. Shkoyach. Rabbi Stefansky, good morning. I hope you're well. I want to express my tremendous Hakaras Hatov of everything that you do. About a month and a half ago, I was in Shul, Yisrael Shalitsky, came over to my son and I, and was super excited that you were in the 5 towns and spoke with my son Noah. You hear this? Yisrael Shalitsky decided to go speak to a younger kid about the Daf Yomi that you give daily. He explained how it's very energetic and there's a lot of cool slides. Until about a month and a half ago, my son never learned Gemara. Until about a month and a half ago, my son never learned Gemara. The one time he did it was only to prepare for an upcoming test to get into yeshiva in Israel. He didn't even know that Talmud and the Gemara are the same thing, and asked me at the time why we started on page 2. He thought he was missing a page. After he spoke with Yisrael, he was inspired and started doing the Daf Yomi. He has gone through 41 blot as of today. Mazel tov. He has mentioned to me several times that he can't talk. He must finish the daf for the day, and consistently sends me video clips, asking me to explain certain ideas, which I'm of course happy to do. Just want to thank you again for what you do for Klal Yisrael. Thank you, Avi, Popak, Yishkoyach, Tzaddik. 40 days is unbelievable. 60, 90 days. That's it. You're locked in for life. Keep it up. The Masechta, sponsored by Anonymous for the safe and speedy return of all the hostages. Parnasah chodesh Leiluy nishmas Zechrya ben Moshe Leiluy nishmas Chaya bas Yosef. Parnasah Adina Kahan, happy birthday, Daddy Kahan. Leiluy nishmas Eliyohu ben Eliezer and Chaya Malka bas Todros. The Shabbos should have an Aliyah, and Daddy Kahan should have a happy birthday. The sponsor of the day, Yosef Ezra for safe return of all the hostages for parnasah and shalom bais. Sponsored by his father, a new one, parnasah. Sponsored by his father, the bar mitzvah of Ari Steg, the Shabbos. Klal Yisrael should be a gadol hador. MDY headquarter, coffee corner, week. Vladislav Zakharov in the schut that I finally find a job. Boys, we're holding Daf Ayin Beis. We only have 4 daf left. Chaparain. Today, we're going to do a little bit of Chazara. If you weren't here in the beginning of his Neshech, was actually like Erev Yontif kind of when we started. And we spoke about Kul in Yonim. Today we're going to do a little bit of a Chazara. We're holding 3 lines down from the top. Ayin Beis Amud Aleph. Toner Rabbanon. Yisrael Shalava Mois Min Anochri. It's very interesting. We know that we're allowed to borrow money from a guy and lend him money, beribis. What happens, you borrowed money from the guy and all of a sudden he becomes a Jew. Now what? It's a nice trick actually. He takes from you, you're a bank, takes $1 million loan, 10% interest, $100,000 a year. After 3 years, he realizes, he's $300,000 in the hole in interest. You know what? I'll become a yid for $300,000. I'll become a yid. Geschmack. Why not? This is the famous Bardak trying to get him to join the Hebrew Shir. There's a guy goes to the cipher, shows him his mezuzahs. He says, "No, these are no good. You're Ashkenazi, right?" He goes, "Yeah, these are Sephardi mezuzahs. You have to buy new mezuzahs." How much are new mezuzahs? He says, "At least 2,000 shekel." He says, 2,000 shekel? I want a Sfared. I want to become a Sephardi. And then he goes through the whole thing, but if you become a Sephardi, you have to do a Brita. Brita, if you have a girl, you have to make Brita. And it costs you this, and the Chinga, and all that. And then he came out that it's not Kedai. But then he said, but if you're Ashkenazi, you have to buy a dira for your kid. Checkmate. He was like, So then they decided they should become Teimanim. Ani money. Anyway, so some people, for a certain amount of money, they become I don't know what. So let's see in the Gemara. The Jew borrowed from the non-Jew. Beribis. Uzakvan olav b'milva. It goes like this. I noticed that, and I'm saying this for myself, a lot of times you hear a word and it sounds intimidating and then you like shut down. That's it, the sugya is over. Zakvan olav b'milva. Wow. All it means is he wrote an invoice. Okay? It's just very simple, but sometimes, Zakvan. Oh, that's it. The sugya is over. What happened was, the Jew borrowed money from the non-Jew, $1 million at 10% interest. Elimelech yishkoyach gadol barabim for the sefer. I'm going to say this as a joke because I love the sefer. I love the sefer. It's gewaldic, and I just saw like they're selling the sefer for free. I mean, they're giving it away for free from Maggid Shurim. They're giving it away from Maggid Shurim, but it says on the bottom that you just have to pay like something, 35 shekel, 40 shekel for shipping. And I realized that's more expensive than the actual sefer cost in the store. So this is the first time in my life that I saw a sefer that there's ribbis on it. The whole sefer is about ribbis. You can get it for 35 shekel, but if you want it for free, it costs 40. I have a Hakaras Hatov to say. That was just for the joke. Erase what? It's very good. It's actually very, yeah. There was just 2 days ago, I was looking for halacha. I was stuck in Greece, and I couldn't figure it out. It was bothering me. How come people lend with ribbis? That idea. So I looked in the Mesivta. I had that sefer with me. I opened it up, and he spoke about it. He brought the tour, this. I was able to say in shir. Anyway, no, it's for dummies. It's like it gives you the translation. The Gemara Mamish, it repeats. It's very good. Okay, what is it called again? Something very similar. It's a blue sefer, very nice sefer. Anyway, shkoyach gadol, appreciate it. So the Jew borrows $1 million from the guy. Here it is. Yeah, he borrows $1 million from the guy with 10% interest a year. So at the end of the year, the guy writes him a new invoice. Initially, it says $1 million plus interest. At the end of the year, he says, "You owe me $1.1 million." A new star, like a new loan. And afterwards, he becomes a ger. Okay, so he locked in the price. He locked in the entire loan, 1.1, and the Jew owes him 1.1. But if he goes over the whole loan and he rewrites it and gives him a new invoice, after he already has payas and a hat and a jacket, and he's saying Kaddish for the Olam, by that time, it's too late. There's no ribbis. Here, we have a little bit of here's our guy, the non-Jew. He gives $100 to the Jew. And it says on top, you owe me 100 plus ribbis. And then they chuck that out and they write a new one. You owe me 110. Zakvan olav b'milva. He writes in the star, you owe me 110. and then he becomes a ger. So it's good. But if it's the opposite, he becomes a ger and then he writes it, no good. Very simple. He wrote a shtar, a new shtar, bin his geyer, and then he became a ger. If he wrote the new shtar before he became a ger, so everything was beheter gomor. He borrowed the ribbis beheter. He owed the ribbis beheter when he was still a guy. He could pay him the principal and the ribbis. As we're going to see soon, there's a shita that says that if you borrow with ribbis, it wipes off everything. Even the principal you don't have to pay. But in this case, not only the principal, but even the ribbis you have to pay. What if it happened after? He became a ger. Goiva es ha keren. He could only pay the principal. He doesn't pay the ribbis. And the same applies in reverse. If the guy borrowed from the Jew, which he's allowed to borrow ribbis, the Jew is allowed to take ribbis, right? Especially if it's k'dei Chaya, for his parnasah, or he's a Talmud Chacham, and we said in Bizman Hazeh, since we need parnasah, and since we already are used to the guy, I'm not going to have such a shpa, it's okay. Zakon ala b'milva, bin his gayer, that's the halacha that I saw in your sefer, there's a neshach mavur. Bin his gayer, imad shaloin his gayer, zakon ala b'milva, goyves ha-keren, ve'goyves ha-ribis. If he didn't become a ger yet, and he put it in a new shtar, then the Jew could collect the interest from the guy. But if he became a ger tzedek, and then you rewrote it, then you get the principal, but you don't get
the writing.
You're reestablishing a new loan.
You pay ribbis. Just the writing is the problem.
No. Once you write it, once you establish,
now you're a Jew.
No.
You pay back
No. Writing is a trick to get out of the problem. Once you write, it's a new loan. It's a new loan. I owe you, instead of $1 million, I owe you $1.1 million.
You're paying ribbis to myself. That's what's happening. You're a Jew now. You're paying ribbis.
So time out. No, the opposite. The opposite. There's no ribbis with a guy, and all the money that I owed him for ribbis was when he was a guy, or that he owed me was when he was a guy. Now he's a yid. Who cares? No, so it's not ribbis. It's not even ribbis. It might look like ribbis. It might this. It doesn't look so good. So you're taking it. But at the end of the day, why did you charge him ribbis? Because he wasn't Jewish. Yesterday he wasn't Jewish. There's two cases. There's you borrowing from a guy, and there's a guy borrowing from you. In the case that a guy borrows from you, you're allowed to charge him interest. Why? That's the halacha. Why? My time in the Rabbi Yosef, the guy owes $300,000 in interest. So he has a very simple trick. He goes through the process and becomes a yid, and he wipes out the interest. We don't want people to say that he became a Jew for the money, like the famous Ma'isa. There was a priest that was promising $100,000 to any Jew that converts. So this guy said, okay, let me try it out. So he converted, converts, he goes to the church, whatever, he converts, and he walks outside and he sees a friend of his from the past, already a guy. So he says, Zundel, no, did you get $100,000? He says, you Jews, all you think about is money. So, people do funny things for a few bucks.
This is a good Shasky question.
Yeah, what?
Can a Jew take ribbis from a Jew?
It's very tricky. When could a Jew take ribbis from a Jew?
Yeah.
The answer is never.
No, you are.
In this case, it's not from a Jew. He took ribbis that he owed him from when he's a guy. The payment is when he's a Jew. He's a shliach of the guy that he was before. Okay, fine. Nice. It is a nice question.
Quickness.
I do want to remind the island because it made such a rush on me, this story, and it's a famous story, but once in a while you got to repeat it. That in Lakewood, once in a while, every few weeks. I said a story yesterday, Jonathan. I didn't say it in 2 years. No, yeah, the old story. I don't think I said it in the... It was not 2 years? Which story was it?
27.
It says story number 27. Very good. Anyway, I didn't say it in a long time. I remember. So this one I said closer. That there was a family in Lakewood that the kids got accepted to the best chidarim in Lakewood, the hardest schools, regular from people. We're talking about Mark Ashkenazi. He moved to Phoenix so that his daughter could go to school in Phoenix. He picked up his family and moved to Phoenix. He travels back and forth. People in Lakewood cannot get their kids into school. This guy has his kids in school. One day the FBI shows up. They realize he's a murderer that just pretends that he's a Lakewooder. He wasn't even Jewish. He looked like a Yid. He had the hat, the jacket, the pay, all thing, and his kids are steiging away in Lakewood Cheder, in the Chedarim that you can't get in. And they went, they picked him up, they pulled him out. You don't remember the Maisa? No. Who remembers the story? So I made up the story. Gewaltige story I made up. Wow. Now you're gonna get the emails with the thing. It's a Mefurish Yeshiva World News. It must have not been in the last 2 years, but okay. Did I say the story recently? No. But this is a true story. Emerson story. Too bad that you guys don't know what's going on in the world. What, the guy in Yerushalayim that just that one you remember, yeah? Just recently he wrote that Lebanese, but there's another one, a chassid with paste and everything. He wrote a book about it. His whole thing. He's complete. He said, I have nothing bad, but chazal l'sura. He went back to the. Okay, anyway, but this guy in Lakewood, 100%. Motzei Shabbos. Oh my Rava.
So no one's point.
What?
So no one's point. He quotes a Russian over here who says that even interested in cruise after he's misguided.
Hold on, time out. Somebody look up on Google right now and find the mice in Lakewood. And during this year, we're going to find out. Yeah, what?
He quotes a rush down here that says that even interested in cruise after he's misguided.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the rush. Collects Rishonim. It's not all the Rishonim. Rush holds that even interested in a cruise afterwards. So you mean that helps Noam's question, that here's a case of a Jew could take interest from a Jew. Real interest without a heteriska, without anything. That's the question. Without a heteriska, without being Yisoimim, without anything special, Jew on Jew take from another. Gewaldig. You know how many people are going to answer in Shas Then all of them in one shot. They start screaming, I ain't based on Aleph. Yeah. All my Rava, my time of the Rabbi Yosi, because they should learn Rabbi Shulmos and these guys. Tana Rabbanon. Shtar shekosov boy ribis, kointin oisoiv, ve'ene goyve, loisa keren ve'loisa ribis. Unbelievable halacha, divrei Rabbi Meir. If you are over the Isidore rights of ribis and you make a shtar for the rib, Uncle Phil, shalom aleichem. So, if you write such a shtar, we punish you and you don't even get back your principal. I forgot to look this up. It bothered me in Milshire last night. But then the loiva was also over there, right? So he gains $1 million loan. It becomes his. Like what happens to the $1 million? The Malva loses, but why the loiva? Why should the loiva gain? He's also a Russia. Okay. You wipe everything out. The ribis certainly you wipe out. Why? It's the right. The keren. The chiddush is the keren. Even the principal. Nobody can find that story yet. What's going on? What? Yeshiva wrote that what happened? No, let's hear.
March 2008.
2008. No, go.
Lakewood community rocked by non-Jewish man posing as Jew.
No. His kids were in the cheder, it says over there.
In Forest Park, Lakewood.
A bunch of Amaratzim here. Amaratz, a whole room full of people, not a single person knows the story.
He had no kids.
They should have made a... Nathan Levy. Nassim Levy. Yeah. Guys, again, fine. We proved it here. Oh, so this is a riot to all my stories. Okay, fine. You just don't know. What do you mean he's stuck? He was over the rice. The Edom over, the Arv is over. No, that's not makabel that at all. He went ahead and he took. Look at the Ayin Aleph Amud Aleph Amud Beis, 2 lines down. Elu oivrim beloisa sehamal v'valoy v'orei. You're over, so why should he gain? Why should a guy that's over Isser?
We're going to cost the person that has the ability.
Toys Bava Metzia talks about. Okay, give out.
This is here says that he pays, but not from Mishpadim. Not with the Koyach.
Oh, that's the machlokes Rishonim. Right. Hold on, I'm getting there. Hold on. This is machlokes Rishonim. What does it mean? Do you rip up the shtar completely out in the garbage, or it just means you don't? He's not going from Mishubadim only from Bnei Chayrin. Okay, so that explains it. According to that shita, yeah. But there's a shita Rishonim that you rip it up completely. Chacham say, no, he gets back his principal, he just doesn't get the ribbis. But Michael Miflagi?
Also go over that area. Like the
Who?
The star.
Yeah, that's what we get.
No, the Sefer maybe doesn't know, I don't know. Oh, you're saying that also. Fine, I hear. But Michael Miflagi, Rebbe Meir Sova Kansina Neteri Mishum Yisura. Just a general thing, if a person did something wrong, do we get him also on the thing that he did right, on the part that's good? There's two parts to the shtar. There's the principle and there's the interest. The interest we punish him on, and we also, according to Rameir, punish him on the good stuff, on the loan. It's not. It's a knas according to Rameir. We give him extra punishment. You lose $1 million because you want to take $100,000 ribbis. According to Rabbana, we don't. Not awesome. Again, there's one of those things that could confuse people. I'm done. No, it's very, very pashut. Here. So, there was a property sold on Hey Nisan. And there was a loan on Yud Nisan. In other words, the loan happened after the property was sold. But in the shtar, they write the wrong date. Instead of writing Yud, they write Aleph. The shtar says Aleph. It's a lie. The shtar is falsified. But what happens when you write a shtar like that? Now, it shows that the Malva could go after all the real estate of the Loiva. From Aleph Nisan on, he could go after all real estate. So even if the Loiva sold a piece of real estate, he could go after it. What happened in this case? The Loiva sold a piece of real estate on Hey Nisan, the 5th day of Nisan. But it says in the shtar that this piece of real estate already had a lien on it to the Malva when? 5 days earlier in Aleph. That's a lie in the shtar. Okay? The shtar is falsified. There's some very good stuff in the shtar. It says the right names, it says the right amount of the loan, it says where they live, everything. Just one small detail is off, and that's Aleph instead of Yud. Okay? The same exact thing. Here, look what happens now. The Malva comes and takes away the field that the guy bought on Hey Nisan. It could happen 20 days later. It doesn't matter when. He grabs it. Why? Because he comes with a shtar that shows that he already had a lien on the field from Aleph, which is not true. The loan only happened on Yud. So that's why it's possible. You can do the wrong thing. This is not important to our sugya, but let's just see it for a second. Here, he borrowed money when on Aleph Nisan, and it says in the shtar that it actually happened in Yud Nisan. He's messing himself up. It doesn't even help him. It's not good for him. That means anybody that bought a field, he loses for 10 days. Okay, this is mukdam, muchar. We're talking about mukdam. This case, ask the Gemara, why are you throwing it out completely? According to you, that we could do like a palgin and dibur kind of thing. We could say, this shtar is good for the principal, not good for the interest. So let's say this shtar is good from Yud Nisan and on. From Yud Nisan, you agree, the names are good, the amount is good, everything is good, so let's use it. Let the shtar at least be good from Yud Nisan on. Okay, so you lied a shtickle. There's a little lying problem. You put Aleph instead of Yud. But let the shtar be good from Yud. You're right. According to Rameir, the reason is we do a knas. Since part of the shtar is a lie, so we throw out the whole shtar, we rip it up. Another pshat. Why would I leave such a shtar around and let it be used? He could go, like Yosef Ezra said yesterday, he could go use it somewhere else in another city, or he'll use it in this city, people won't realize the date, whatever it is, he'll use it. Says the Gemara, how gaver the mashkali pardesi l'chavrei. You're talking about two kunstmachers, two guys, two shrewd, what do they call tricksters? Kunstmacher is a good one. Fine, kunstmacher. One guy tried to play a good trick on his friend, So the other guy got him back with even a better trick. What was the trick? The mashkali pardes l'chavrei. One borrowed money from the other. So give me $1 million. He says, $1 million? Are you crazy? What if you don't pay me back? He says, oh, I have a vineyard. It's worth millions of dollars. Here, take it as collateral. Okay? He takes the vineyard as collateral. And for 3 years, he sits there in the vineyard, the malva, and reaps the fruit, takes the grapes, and he basically, let's say he even pays down the loan. It doesn't matter what exact. He sat there for 3 years with the vineyard. Was he allowed to sit there? Of course. It was collateral. But we all know in Bava Basra it says that if you stay in a field for 3 years, it's chazaka gimel shadem. If nobody makes a macha. So over here, why would the real owner make a macha? He gave it as collateral. He wants the guy to be there and reap the fruit. So the guy tells him, listen, now what's the word? Blackmails him. He blackmails him. He says, I'm going to tell everybody it's my field. Yeah, you have a choice. If you want to sell to me like a mensch, I'll give you money right now. If not, it's mine. And either way, it's mine. Okay? I like this geschmack grapes. My business is going well. I'm taking this. You have a choice. Either we could do this nicely. You'll take $1 million from me right now for this thing. Or you're not going to get a dime from me. I'm going to tell everybody I sat here for 3 years. Go fight it in court. So the guy says, oh, what do we do for such a thing? He had a great trick. Omar lei, so the malva, the shyster says, if you're going to sell it to me like a mensch, great. If you don't want to sell it to me, I'm going to destroy the shtar. Who holds the shtar? The malva holds the shtar. I'm going to lie. I'm not going to tell anybody this was actually collateral. I'll tell people I bought it from you. I purchased it from you. Look, I'm sitting here for 3 years. Oh, but you can't mess with this guy. The loiv is not a pushover. So first of all, step one is he went and conveyed the deed. He went and he gave the entire vineyard to his son as a gift. He gifted it to his son. Wrote a shtar, ate him the whole thing. It's not his anymore. Then he goes to the malva and he says, okay, you know what? You got me. You blackmailed me. Okay, how much? $1 million. Give me $1 million. It's yours. So he sold him the vineyard when it wasn't even his. It's his son's, 100% his son's. Halachically, he gave it to his son, it's his son's. Then he went, he took $1 million from the guy, pocketed the $1 million that the guy, and then he told the guy, you sold the wrong person the vineyard, it's not even mine. I got your $1 million, Shema Yisrael. What? He bought it, but he stole his money because you can't sell something that's not yours. He sold him. It's like selling your neighbor's apartment to somebody else. He sold his son's vineyard to somebody for $1 million. You want to play games with me? You want to blackmail me? Okay, let's do it. Game's on. He took his $1 million, and now he says, now the mouse starts crying. Give me my $1 million back. So he says, I didn't sell you anything. I had nothing to sell. So he says, the Malva says, well, I lent you the money. I lent you the money. And we even have a shtar that I lent it to you. Here it says, you sold me this field, but it wasn't yours. So you took.
Is there 3 years? Who cares that it belonged to someone else? He's there 3 years. The same 3 years he was sitting there. Doesn't matter who it belonged to originally. He's here for 3 years now. But he's sitting here for 3 years. So it doesn't matter. The same time he had before. He has now.
No.
No one made him a cha.
Nobody got the money.
No one made him a cha. Knew the same time he had before he has now.
The Malva came and said, give me money. Either I'll give you money or I'm going to take it. So the Lova says, okay, no problem. Let's make a deal. Give me money. Now he has money.
Again,
you're right. The Malva's going to sit there either way.
I hear.
Now I got my
There's 80 man. There's 80 pages.
It sells not it doesn't matter. I got my money.
But here's the thing. He took $1 million from the guy without selling it to him.
Right.
So now he has $1 million. Now he could go try to cry to that guy, but okay, that's a different story. You're saying he could have just done it straight, take the $1 million or something Yisrael. Interesting. Says the Gemara like this: the guy, the loiva, cannot sell to the malva of the field.
Taking it straight. He wouldn't give it to him. If he took it straight, then he's masking to a sale.
Right.
Now he can go to Bezin and say there's no sale. My son has it.
Let him find it out. Yeah, I hear. He took the money without a sale, and now he's going to have to fight with the kid. But he could technically take it from the kid without paying the kid. That's what he's asking. He could say, I'm not leaving the field, and I had a cheskas gil shanim, and he was masking to pay the $1 million anyway. It's like this. Okay, there's still going to be a shtickle fight. He didn't get out of it completely.
Without the star material, he wouldn't have proved that it wasn't. The whole idea is
that he's saying very good. He's saying now that there's a star that he bought it, now he's masking. No, there's no ava. Listen for a second. Now he's showing that it's really not his because he bought it. He's masking to buy it. So it's not. There's no cheskes gil sham, so he can't claim it. Very good. That's the answer. Ishkoyach, Revenachim Mate, Vivaldi. Zvini vadi lo yabe zvini. Zuze kimuv b'shtar dom v'goy b'nechazim shubadim. Or so now the Gemara has a shayla. What kind of loan is this? When the Malva gave the loiva $1 million to purchase it, do we view it as a loan with a document or a loan without a document? Now there is a document here that says I'm giving you a charayas. Here Rashi sticks it in. Usually you don't even need a charayas because a charayas is cipher. But he wrote it in Furish. I'm giving you a guarantee on this field. But the fact that you're saying that you're giving a guarantee on this field, perhaps that's like a loan. Okay, we could convert this sale document into a loan document. No, it's a very weak loan. It's not attached to real estate. He can't go after any real estate of the loiva. It's only al peh. So you hear the shayla? So basically, what's going on here? Let's chazara. There's a fake document that says I'm selling this property to the Malva. I cannot sell it. It's not mine. I'm selling my neighbor's property. I'm selling my son's property. I can't do that. But could we still use this document for a little bit for something else? Do we say a document that has a lie in it is gone, like our sugya where he wrote Aleph Nisan instead of Yud Nisan? We try to say that it's completely finished. We can't use this document at all. Over here also. It's a lie. It says Reuven is selling Shimon a field. He can't sell it, but let's at least use it to prove that there was a change of money here and that the loiva owes $1 million to the Malva. Maybe we can use it for that. Perhaps the fine bais on bais. If there's a star that the Malva, the loiva agrees that he borrowed money, even though you didn't. What's the word? You didn't do a hempik. You didn't certify it in court in Bezdin. You don't have to. You could use it as is. The loiv is masking. You could go and collect even from real estate. So I just want to say goodbye to Kid Innovations in honor of my uncle Rabbi Chanan Pressman as a schus for Simcha and Fega, an official mitzvah motivators in honor of the Lemans for sponsoring Sfarim for Adina and Ner Tamid learning. And by the Gersman brothers, all three, Shkoyach Gadol for sponsoring and turning Daf for a whole month. Achavar Moshe ben Yerachmiel Shalom, an original real Yeki, and a Rav Eliezer Moshe ben Rib Shema Zatzal. So today, the turning of the Daf is sponsored by Eric Adelman of Bigger Cup Consulting and Chanie and Paul Schuster with Hakaras Hatov to Fishel, Simcha and Ner Tamid for bringing Reb Eli and MDY and DafYomi into our lives. Sorry, proper. Reb Eli, MDY and DafYomi, one and into our lives. What's the connection? The top line on this Amud where a guy has a star, you just didn't certify it. It's a great star. Everything's good. He just didn't do one thing. Fine. Over here, this star doesn't even start. When he says he's selling this vineyard, which doesn't even belong to him, it's garbage. Throw it in the garbage, not even toilet paper. So what? You have a star that has a big problem with it, throw it out. If you're right that you just throw it out, you ignore everything else in it. If you recall here in this case right over here, you have the borrowing, the loiva, the alva happened Yud Nisan, but the star says Aleph Nisan. So according to you, throw this star out in the garbage. It's worthless. But that's not what the Gemara says. The Gemara says, remember Yosef Ezra said, you're going to start using it for inappropriately. Yeah, it's good. It's good from Yud on, but you might use it from Aleph to Yud and take fields out of people for no reason. Say the whole star is garbage. Over there, 90% of the star is good. The only problem with the star is that it says Aleph instead of Yud. Over here, you cannot sell a vineyard that's not owned by you. So the whole star, there's nothing in the star they can use. But there is a case. Oh, so there's a beautiful chart here that Yoshi did back in Bava Kama. Let me just show you. When you see this, it's so pashut. It's a bunch of steps. It's a whole long story, but with the graphics, it's perfect. There's a guy that owns a field. Okay, he's a shtickle of Velemech. Comes a Ganav and kicks him out of his own field. Throws him out. The Ganav goes and sells the stolen field. So if we stop right there, that's a problem. How do you sell a stolen field? The star that you wrote is a false star. That's exactly our sugi right here. He used a false document. You can't even, there's nothing on the piece of paper that makes any sense. And then it says, he goes ahead, he sells it to this guy with the white beard. The guy with the white beard purchases it, and then he improves the field. Remember, we had this in Bava Kama, he improves. He puts a barn on, he plants some trees, and then the purchaser, the leikeach, the guy with the white beard, gets kicked out. Oops, I went too fast or something. I don't know what just happened. Let's do this. So now the leikeach, the guy with the white beard, comes and sues the gazlan. He says, I bought it for 100, plus I invested 30, you owe me 130. So the halacha is that the karka part, the 100, you get from Meshua Abadim. Yoshi did it with it's enclosed, it's there, it's not going anywhere. You could go and take your money from the real estate. The 30 you have to take from movable objects. Okay, but the problem is, what is he going after? How does he go after his Meshua Abadim? How could he go after the Ganav's real estate? There's no shtar. According to you, take the shtar and throw it out. There's no shtar. That's all the Gemara is asking. Right before it becomes wide lines, he steals a field and he sells it to his friend, and the friend goes ahead and improves it. And now that friend that improved it loses it. And he goes to the Gazlan, he says, pay me back everything. Goiva is a keren, the principal menachasim shubadim from real estate. V'shevach and the improvements, goiva menachasim menachorim, that he can only take from the movable objects. Neima, but according to you, le'nitin likasev, the whole shtar is falsified, there's nothing there. Says the Gemara. Before I say the answer, I'll just say, there's people that you know very well, I know them well. It happens very often, unfortunately. You do a real estate deal with somebody, right? Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Here in this country, it happens a lot, unfortunately. So you negotiate, I know a guy, negotiated for a year with a guy. A year, back and forth, no, I want more, I want less, da-da-da-da-da. After a year, a whole year, he finds out that the seller doesn't even own it. Nothing, zero. Why is he doing this? Because he knows the real seller, and he thinks he could do a good deal with the seller behind it. He's going to sell it for $2 million. He'll get a deal from the seller for $1 million. Then he finds out the seller doesn't want to sell it, b'chlal, and then the seller wants $3 million. So okay, but he drives the people crazy for a year. Right? People know. Anybody in this room could tell us that it happened to him? Yes, he says yes. Okay, I don't want to say your name, Barabba. Motzei Shabbos, right? So what's pshat? Is he such a bad guy? Yeah, he drove you crazy for a year. But he's not a ganav. He wants to do a deal. That's his way of doing the deal. So, I'm not saying, this is the Saber Soizim. Well, in our case also, the ganav, at the end of the day, wants to make it right and wants to do a purchase from the real owner.
Is he authorized by the real owner?
No.
Settle down.
Yeah. Excuse me, you're a guest here. You don't tell me to settle down. You settle down. I'll go as crazy as I want, Mr. G. Listen to this. He got an aliyah yesterday. I've never seen anything like this. So, what does he do on purpose? Shtickmacher. He says, Eitan ben Zissel.
Eitan Boaz
ben Zissel. Stop. Zissel. He stops right there. So Gary goes, Zissel? Real loud. He says, my mother-in-law's name is Zissel. He says, that's why I love your mother-in-law. He says it loud in front of the whole shul. And then he says, Zissel Nachum, right? What was the name?
Nachum.
Yeah. So Instead of going Zissel Nachum to begin with and not confuse the guy, he throws in the mother's name. Zissel. Now, it happens to be the guy's name is Zissel Nachum. Shkoyach. You do it on purpose every time, right?
No. He was going name by name. Eitan, Boaz, Ben, Zissel.
I'm just saying next time don't do Zissel. Do Zissel Nachum.
That's the name.
I know Zissel Nachum. But listen, I didn't yell out to you, settle down.
I'm just saying.
I didn't. So why are you selling it to me?
We're close, right here, and it's all up in my face.
sorry, I apologize. Okay, G. Rabbi say, if you're in Los Angeles, Eitan G, he wants to make a new MDY matzah. It's shvach. It's going backwards. We got to go forwards, right?
That's right.
Catch Shlomo
Always
Lazarian.
learning, everybody will do it.
Valdi. Also, I want to shout out in Los Angeles. My son, my wife, my wife wanted to get him. He's not feeling so well, so she wanted to get him an IV. So she looks on Google, the whole thing in IV. So get a company. The guy comes out there. He goes, Stefansky, I do your father's daf. So you gotta find this guy, huh? Anyways, Shu goy v'goy v'mesakerim v'nechazim shu abadim v'shevach goy v'nechazim v'nechorim nemer le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le'le' means. It's not good for Shidduchim Rabboisai to have a name of a Goslin. So what do? You go back to the real seller and you make a deal with him. It's also not good if that's your job, that you steal and you're a crook. You don't want people to know it. It's not good that the whole world, it's not good for business when people say you're a ganav. When you're a ganav and people know you're a ganav, it's very schwach for business. He also wants a good name. He goes to the real owner and he purchases it from him, and he makes the shtar a good shtar. But in our case, when he's dealing with a shyster that wants to steal his vineyard from him, so what does he do? He gives the vineyard to his son as a gift. You think he wants to be Mekayim Shtar? No way. Says the Heilige Mishnah. Sponsored in recognition of myself and all of the Chevra of MDY. So the Rabbi said this is Gevaldik. It's just a Chazar. You all know what this is, unless this is your first day in Ezu Neshach. But it's really, really easy stuff. There's a concept called Psik ala Peiros. It's a fancy word of saying a forward contract. Let's say, a great example for us. Let's say you buy Mishpacha magazine, Ami magazine on a subscription. So you pay in the beginning of the year $100, you get it the whole year, you get a great deal. Instead of buying it every single week, which costs a fortune or whatever, you buy it, you pay up front and you get the magazine every single week. So that's what they used to do. You pay $1,000 and the guy delivers to your house wheat, flour, whatever it is throughout the year. What happens is that if the price of the wheat goes up and he's locked in, price could go up or down. We'll talk about down also, but let's say it goes up. If it goes up, so he paid $1,000. It turns out that by the end of the year, he got $1,500 worth of fruit. What is that called? Ribbis. So there's two ways out of it. Yeshloi. Discuss this. If the seller has it, if he has all the magazines in stock or whatever, magazine doesn't work. If he has the fruit right now today, so we're going to pretend that he gave it to you today. He could give it to you today. Since he could give it to you today, you want it, you don't want it all in one shot. He doesn't want to give it to you all in one shot. He could though, he has the potential. He took your money, he could just give it to you right now, so it's as if it happened today. That's Yeshloi. Yotzei Hashar is similar. Yotzei Hashar means he doesn't have it. But the market is there today. We know we established the price. It's $10 a pound, and that's it. So if he doesn't have it by him, he could go buy it next door in the Makol. He'll go to the store and buy it. He doesn't have to have it in his closet. He has the ability to buy it at that price. But you have to establish a price. Yotzei Hashar, established price. It means it has to be there for a few days, for whatever it is. So let's see inside. Here we have a good, here it is, if you want to see it as the guy on the right is the wholesaler. He's selling one box full for $100. When? The first of Nisan. He gets $100 on the first of Nisan. By the time it's 20th of Nisan, the price goes from 100 to 120. He still has to fulfill that. That's how. So the guy gained $20. The guy, the lekech, he bought it for 100. He's getting 120. it should be a problem with ribbis, but it's not a problem with ribbis. Why? Because the Tiger on the right had the wheat on the first day of Nisan also. Or, that's Yeshloy, the Mishnah is going to discuss now, Yotza Hashar. Ein Poiskin al Paris at Yetza Hashar, until there's an established price. Yotza Hashar, Poiskin, once the price is established in the market, you could do a forward contract, Poiskin al Paris. Vafapi, Shein Lezeh, even though the wholesaler doesn't have, Yesh Lezeh, he can get it from anywhere. What if, so this is Givaldi, boys, think about it. What if you do a forward contract on wine? You don't have wine, you have a bunch of grapes in a vat. All you need to do is wait a month until it ferments and the whole thing. Is that considered yeshloi or not? You say no, yes. So the Mishnah says in certain circumstances, yes. It's not so far away. You have it. You have the ingredients. You just have to do this a little bit. So that's yeshloi. So that's what's going on here. You're right there by the when you reap the wheat. Huh? It is lo'ilam. It's mamash here. It's lo'ilam, just a very curved lo'ilam. You have all the ingredients ready. You just have to wait a little bit.
What if it doesn't turn out?
You're missing thresh.
What if it's split?
Okay. They're right, but that's the idea. Is it kilu here, not here? Look, you have the wheat. Let's talk about wheat for a second. You have the wheat. You just didn't thresh it yet. You're missing that one step. What if you didn't? But 95% of the time it happens. So it's kilu. It's here. Here.
It's here. Everything's here. They just didn't make a shar yet.
Yeah. Correct.
Everything's here.
No, it's godish. Right. Godish means it's wheat, but you didn't thresh it yet.
No, he says you weren't.
It wasn't threshed. No.
Shar, the money you didn't.
What?
He says differently than you.
But that's not the point. Nachman, you'll see. You'll see that the point is that it's missing a step. Look, next line. Look at this picture. You have a giant vat of grapes. It's not wine yet. It's anavim. Vat of olives. A ball of pottery. Here, he doesn't have a kli. This is the picture I sent him. But here, this is what Yoshi did. I sent him this. I want to show the ball. It's not in a form yet. So he takes that and he forms a vessel out of it. But all he has is a round circle. That's enough, because from the round circle he's going to make shel yoitzer, valsid, lime, mishashiko bakivshon. He threw it into the kiln. It's not really lime yet. We're going to see more of it. And you could do a forward contract on manure. Why? There's always animals, always manure. I just took my son here, not him, the other one. Lazi, sorry, he didn't want to come. We went to Indianapolis. No, on the way back from there, there's a place I spoke about a few times. The guy has thousands of cows, and he did a whole attraction out of it. It's called Fair Oaks. We went there, we stopped there we had to recharge the car. It was, we couldn't make it all the way. Supercharger. Happens to be that the buses, it says, it's just funny stuff, the whole thing. They show you how every 5 minutes a cow gives birth there, so you can see birthing, you can see the whole milk on the cow. It's cool. We didn't go in there. But the buses say that these buses, they ride on the manure of the cow. It shows like the cow and the whatever. It's like funny zach. So there's manure all year round. There's zevel all year round. So fine. You need it. You need to have it. You can't just, somebody else has it. So we'll see Chacham Matir is a little different than the Tanakama. It's 3 sheets here actually. So just to understand this, B'shara Gavoya doesn't mean the high one, it means the best one. So let's say you, going back to the example of Mishpach magazine, Ami magazine, you buy the subscription in the beginning of the year, you give them $100. Why are you doing that? Okay, so it's convenient, you don't have to go to the store. But let's say you're doing it because you want to gain the difference. It's very expensive, you do it every week. What if the magazine goes down in price? They have to price stop. So now you look like a fool. You gave them all this money in advance, and you lost money. That's not fair.
Never.
It never happened. But let's say, so I'm saying in the magazine it doesn't happen, but in fruit it happens all the time. The shar goes down, it drops so much that it goes down. La mir zogin. So now what? So the Mishnah says, You have to decide this in advance. You have to make a deal. Rabbi Yehuda says you don't have to say anything. It's self-understood that the reason why you gave all this money in advance is because you want to get a good deal. If you're going to lose, you want your money back, or at least, what's the word? Give me the good price. What's the word? Honor the good price, or give me my money back. What about Mishapara, Rabbi Isai? Mishapara, I made a deal with you. I'm buying all these magazines for $100. Now you want $50 back. It's not Mishapara. Why? Because we all understand the reason why you're doing it is because you want it. What?
Reality changed.
Right. It's not Mishapara. Fine. Omer Rabasi, Omer Bechanan, because you're saying because of the shuk chain. Omer Rabasi, Omer Bechanan, Poiskin, Ala Shar Shebashuk. So this seems very interesting. Rabbi Yechon saying, you cannot do a forward contract. We just learned in the Mishnah you could. If there's an established price, you could. Even when there's a real market? No. When there's a very small market established, that's not the real market. That's not considered like there's a real market. Well, the man is mikara. But what was your havamin? I need to understand what you're talking about. You're telling me Rabbi Yechon was going to argue on the Mishnah? You thought it does mean when there's a very large market. And Rabbi Yechon still said that you cannot do a forward contract. It says in the Mishnah, you could. That if there's an established price. I could purchase today for $100, even though it's going to go up to $120. It's okay. It's not ribis. What's the case that you're saying that it doesn't work? What's the case that the Mishnah is saying it does work? It says Gemara, when there's a giant storehouse and the boats are coming in like something like this. In other words, there's so much wheat that they all come together, or let's say a storehouse like this, they establish the price, and it's a very long period of time. Once they establish, they have millions of pounds of wheat, and they say the price today, it's $10. That's it. So you know it's not going to fluctuate. It's a lot more than your giant market in your city. Then the Kurdim, there's a small city, there's a large city, and then there's the guys, the real players, the guys that give it to the market, the whole storehouse, the ships. That's a different story. Now, the Mishnah is saying that it's a real, the Havamina was that the shar is based on the government, like the real storehouse, not on the local markets. And the answer is no, it's even on the big local markets. Once there's an established price, you're allowed to do a forward contract. Because even though the wholesaler doesn't have produce right now, he can purchase it right now. So we said already that wheat, when it's dry, it produces more flour. So older wheat is worth more. So if there's two prices for the new wheat, which is worth less because it's not dry yet, and the old, you cannot do it. There's no shar yet. Why? There's a confusion here. In we need to establish one price for all wheat. So there's something called the kutos, like these people, the daniyim, they go through the fields to look for dropped wheat. It's very low quality. Why? Because they're taken from different fields, a little bit from here, a little bit from here. It's different breeds or whatever you call it of grain, different types of grain. It's shvach. So it has different price. It's the same idea as we just said. So one is worth 4. For $1 you could get 4, or for $1 you could get 3. So the 3 is more expensive. And there should be one established market. Omer of Nachman. But you could go directly to the poor people and buy from them their produce at their price. Their chagav leket is in this week's parasha. Omer of Nachman. Maishna loiket the islay Yosef melokit chavrei. One poor person could borrow, because perhaps they don't really like to sell this stuff because they need it for themselves. He could borrow from his friend, and it's kilu yeshloi because he could borrow. So why could a poor person do it and a wealthy person not? Balabais nami yozem melakot. I could also borrow from another guy that has this quality stuff. Omerlei balabais zila bei milsa lemezef melakot. He's embarrassed to go purchase garbage. But the poor person has no busha borrowing from another poor person. He wants good qualities. He's not willing to buy this garbage. And one poor person from the other has its own share. One, if you go directly to the guy, but if you're going to a bais, to a wholesaler, well, you want the good stuff. You don't want the leked stuff. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day. Have a great Shabbos. Motzei Shabbos 9:45, and that's bechesed.